The Hero from a Universe Next Door Part 5. The moment breakfast ended, Mitchell and Sci-Fi headed home. Not to pack. Everything they needed was already safely organized inside the bag of infinity. But because there were two people they needed to see first. Family. As they approached, Lillian was watering flowers. And immediately smiled. "My babies!" Then she froze. Because she recognized that look. Something's wrong. William looked up from his book. And immediately stood. "Sci-Fi?" Mitchell smiled softly. "Professor. Mrs. Shale. There may be trouble." Poor Lillian froze. "What kind of trouble?" Sci-Fi gently took her mother's hands. "Varden. 10,000 people. An army of goblins and gnolls." Silence. William's face darkened. "A week." Mitchell nodded. "A week. And we're going." Lillian's eyes immediately became wet. "My babies." William quietly sighed. "Of course you are." Because honestly, neither parent expected anything less. Then Mitchell smiled. "Oh, I almost forgot." He reached into the bag of infinity. William blinked. "My boy." "Yes, Professor? What have you done now?" Mitchell withdrew two small devices. Beautiful. Silver. With crystal screens. And a single glowing button. Lillian blinked. "What are those?" Mitchell smiled. "Communicators." Silence. "Push the button. And we can talk. Doesn't matter where we are." Video 2. Poor William froze. "My boy." "Yes? What have you done?" Far above, Mara spit out tea. "He invented video calls." Another creator god fainted. "Again?" Lillian blinked. "No matter where?" Mitchell nodded. So you won't worry." Critical hit. Poor Lillian burst into tears. "My boy!" And immediately hugged him. William quietly removed his glasses. Not because they were dirty. Because his eyes had become wet. "You thought of your mother." Mitchell smiled. "Of course. Family worries." Then, Sci-Fi hugged her father. "We'll come home." William smiled. "I know." Then he looked at Mitchell. And smiled warmly. "Bring my daughter home." Mitchell blinked. Then smiled. "Always." And somehow, those words reassured him more than anything. Lillian sniffled. "And you bring my son home too?" Both froze. Mitchell blinked. "As son?" Lillian smiled. "Obviously. You're mine now." Poor Mitchell's eyes became wet. "Really?" "Of course." And she hugged him again. "My children." Far above, Mara wiped tears away. "My daughter. My champion. Good. Very good." Then Mitchell smiled. "Oh, we should hurry." And stepped outside. He placed two fingers into his mouth. And whistled. Far away, Sir Trotsalot's ears perked. The pie bandit had been in the middle of stealing an apple pie. He immediately abandoned his criminal enterprise. Because priorities. Whoosh. A magnificent horse with glowing golden wings descended from the heavens. And landed gracefully. Children cheered. "Sir Trotsalot! The pie bandit!" Mrs. Miller pointed. "That's my pie!" The horse ignored the accusation. Because he had important business. Sci-Fi laughed. "Ready?" Mitchell smiled. "Ready." The dark elf climbed onto the saddle behind him. And wrapped her arms around his waist. William smiled. Lillian waved. "Be safe." "Right. Call. And eat properly." "We will." "Love you." "We love you too." And then, whoosh. Sir Trotsalot leapt into the night sky. Flying eastward. Toward Varden. Toward danger. Toward 10,000 people who didn't yet know. That help was coming. And sitting upon the back of a flying horse. wrapped in each other's arms. Mitchell and Sci-Fi smiled. Together. Forever. Far above. Mara smiled proudly. My children! And her eyes became dangerous. Goblins! Gnolls! A hobgoblin king! She smiled. They picked the wrong city. The stars slowly wheeled overhead. And far below, forests, rivers, villages, mountains, passed beneath glowing golden wings. Sir Trotsalot flew tirelessly. Which was good, because after 6 hours, Mitchell had discovered something. Flying horses made excellent pillows. Poor Sci-Fi giggled, because her boyfriend had fallen asleep, leaning against her, his arms wrapped around her, completely trusting her. And somehow, that made her smile, because she trusted him too. Far above, Mara smiled. They're adorable. Another creator god nodded. Very. Hour after hour. The pie bandit flew onward. Eventually, 12 hours later, Sci-Fi's eyes widened. Mitchell. We're here. Mitchell blinked. And froze. Far below, like a sea of stars, stretched Varden. 10,000 souls. Stone walls. Watchtowers. Hundreds of lanterns. And lights everywhere. The city glowed beautifully against the darkness. Sci-Fi smiled. It's beautiful. Mitchell smiled. It really is. And beside them, Sir Trotsalot neighed proudly, as if to say, I brought us. On the wall below, Captain Marcus Reed yawned. Another quiet night. Hopefully. Then one of the guards froze. Captain? Do horses usually fly? Marcus blinked. No. The guard pointed. Captain Marcus looked upward. And froze. Because descending from the heavens was a magnificent golden-winged horse. And riding it, a human. And a dark elf. The younger guard whispered. Captain? Are we dead? Whoosh. Sir Trotsalot landed outside the gates. And immediately demanded an apple. Because priorities. The guards cautiously approached. Captain Marcus swallowed. Who are you? Mitchell smiled. Mitchell Kelly. Sapphire Shale. We've come from Mara's gaze. The captain froze. Mara's gaze? That's impossible. You'd need a week. Mitchell pointed upward. We flew. The captain looked at the horse. The horse looked back. And snorted proudly. As if to say, obviously. Then Sci-Fi smiled. We have a letter. She carefully withdrew a scroll, bearing the seal of Guild Master Boren. Captain Marcus blinked. And opened it. As he read, his eyes widened. Wider. And wider. Guildmaster Boren. He recommends 2 Mithril rank adventurers? The younger guard froze. Mithril! Marcus continued reading. To the honored leaders of Varden. I, Guildmaster Boren Stonebeard of Mara's Gaze, personally vouch for these 2. Despite their youth, I assure you they are Mithril rank in both deed and character. Mitchell Kelly and Sapphire Shale have accomplished more in weeks than most do in lifetimes. They have faced monsters, protected innocents, returned the dead to their families, and shown compassion where others would show pride. And should you have concerns regarding Sapphire Shale being a dark elf, dismiss them. The young woman is among the kindest souls I have ever had the honor of knowing. She is brave. She is selfless. And I would trust her with my own life. Trust these 2. For I do. Guildmaster Boren Stonebeard. Silence. Poor Sci-Fi's eyes became wet. Because Boren had written that. About her. Captain Marcus slowly lowered the letter. Then stood straight. And bowed. To both of them. Welcome to Varden. We are honored. And somewhere, far inside the city, unaware that hope had finally arrived, 10,000 people slept peacefully. And beyond the horizon, thousands of goblins marched. Knowles laughed. And seated upon his throne, the Hobgoblin King smiled. Unaware that the defenders of Varden had just received 2 visitors. A kind-hearted dark elf, a handsome idiot blacksmith, and 1 pie-stealing flying horse. Far above, Mara smiled. My children! Show them what heroes look like. Soon, Captain Marcus escorted the newcomers into Varden. Despite the late hour, the city remained awake. Smiths worked. Soldiers marched. Priests prayed. And fear hung in the air. Because everyone knew the enemy was coming. Eventually, the captain led them into the governor's hall. Inside, generals, advisors, guild representatives, mages, and Governor Cedric Halden himself. The older man looked exhausted. Until he noticed the newcomers. And blinked. Children? One general frowned. Captain Marcus. We asked for Mithro rank adventurers. We received. He stared. A young man. And a dark elf girl. Safi's ears drooped slightly. Captain Marcus immediately handed over Boren's letter. Read. And so they did. Silence filled the room. Governor Halden blinked. Read it again. And then a 3rd time. Guildmaster Boren Stonebeard wrote this. He did. And these 2 are Mithro rank? They are. One mage whispered. Impossible. Captain Marcus smiled. That's what I thought too. Governor Halden approached. And bowed. We are honored. Mitchell blinked. Oh. No need. We just came to help. The old governor smiled. And somehow, his fear lessened. Because there was something comforting about the young man's smile. Then another general frowned. And the dark elf? Silence. Captain Marcus immediately became angry. Read the letter again. The general flushed. And Safi smiled softly. It's all right. I've heard worse. Mitchell blinked. Then looked confused. Why? Everyone turned. Mitchell tilted his head. She's wonderful. Critical hit. Poor Safi turned purple. Maximum purple. The governor smiled. And your relationship? Silence. Safi blinked. Mitchell blinked. Then Mitchell smiled. Oh. This is Safi. He gently took her hand. My fiancée. Silence. Complete silence. Safi froze. The governor froze. The generals froze. Captain Marcus froze. 21 creator gods froze. Mara stood up. He said what? Poor Safi's brain exploded. Purple. Maximum purple. FF fiancé. Mitchell blinked. Then his eyes widened. Oh. He scratched the back of his head. I mean, if that's okay. Entire heavens. Safi's eyes became wet. And she smiled. The happiest smile anyone in the room had ever seen. She squeezed his hand. And quietly said, I'd like that. Critical hit. Fatal. Per Captain Marcus wiped away tears. Governor Halden smiled. And one of the generals whispered, They're adorable. Far above, Mara had fallen out of her chair. They got engaged by accident. Another creator god collapsed laughing. He doesn't even know! Meanwhile, Mitchell simply smiled. Because somehow, calling her his fiancée felt right. And Safi? Safi had already decided. One day. Not today. Not tomorrow. But one day. She absolutely intended to marry the handsome idiot standing beside her. And she couldn't wait. An hour later, the war room of Varden was filled. Generals, captains, mages, guild representatives, and Governor Cedric Halden. Maps covered the table. Everyone looked exhausted. Because they had spent 3 days discussing one question. How do we survive? General Marcus Vale pointed at the map. The western wall is strongest. Captain Reed shook his head. The eastern gate has fewer civilians. One mage frowned. Our barriers won't hold. Another sighed. We don't have enough soldiers. Governor Halden buried his face in his hands. 10,000 people. Gods help us. Silence filled the room. Then, Mitchell raised his hand. Everyone blinked. Governor Halden smiled. Yes, Master Kelly? Mitchell smiled. Couldn't we just stop them before they reach the city? Silence. Complete silence. Everyone froze. General Vale blinked. Pardon? Mitchell smiled. The army. We stop them. Before they get here. Another general stared. That's thousands. Mitchell nodded. Hobgoblins. Gnolls. Goblins. Ogres. Yes. And? Poor General Vale removed his glasses. And? Far above. Mara spit out tea. He said it. Another creator god laughed. And? General Vale pointed wildly. Young man! There are over 6,000 enemies! Mitchell blinked. Oh. Is that all? Entire room. Poor Governor Halden nearly died. Is that all? Captain Reed buried his face in his hands. By the gods. Then Sci-Fi gently squeezed Mitchell's hand. My fiancé. Poor Mitchell smiled. Remember. Normal people. Oh. Right. Far above. 21 creator gods collapsed laughing. Mara pointed. She said fiancé. Governor Halden slowly sat down. Then looked toward Sci-Fi. Lady Sapphire. What do you think? She smiled. I think he's right. Everyone stared. You do? She nodded. We're not an army. We're Mithro rank adventurers. And my handsome idiot tends to solve problems. Poor Mitchell blushed. I'm not handsome. Entire heavens. Liar. Then Sci-Fi smiled. We have a week. We know where they're coming from. We have mobility. We have surprise. And she smiled lovingly at Mitchell. We have him. Critical hit. Poor Mitchell turned red. Good point. Governor Halden looked confused. You trust him that much? Sci-Fi blinked. Then smiled. With my life. Silence. Absolute silence. Because everyone heard it. There wasn't the slightest hesitation. Not even a moment. Captain Reed quietly smiled. They really are something. Then Governor Halden sighed. And smiled. Very well. Suppose we do this your way. How? Mitchell blinked. Then he smiled. We should probably scout them first. Find out what we're dealing with. And maybe talk to the Hobgoblin King. Entire room. Talk to him. Far above. Mara fell out of her chair. Of course he wants to talk. Another creator god laughed. He's going to give peace a chance first. And somewhere, many miles away, upon a throne of bone, the Hobgoblin King smiled. Unaware that the strange human approaching him would first offer peace, and only afterward become the greatest mistake of his life. The following morning, Sir Trotsalot stood proudly beside the stables, and immediately realized something terrible. Mitchell wasn't saddling him. The Pie Bandit's ears drooped. He looked offended. Deeply offended. Sci-Fi hugged his neck. We'll be back. The horse snorted unhappily. Mitchell fed him 3 apples. Guard the city. Sir Trotsalot blinked. Then stood straighter. And puffed out his chest. Because this was important. He had a mission. Children. Pies. And the city. In that order. Far above. Mara laughed. Good horse. Meanwhile, the gates of Varden opened. And 2 figures left. Hand in hand. Mitchell. And Sci-Fi. Both wearing their Mithro badges. Both smiling. Both ready. Several hours later. From atop a hill, they saw them. Thousands. Campfires. Goblin wolf riders. Gnolls. Ogres. Catapults. And banners bearing the symbol of the Hobgoblin King. Sci-Fi frowned. They really mean to conquer. Mitchell nodded. Looks like it. Then he smiled. Stay here for a minute. Sci-Fi blinked. You know they won't listen. Mitchell nodded. Probably. Most monsters don't become monsters by accident. They want power. They want conquest. Some are proud. Some are cruel. And some simply enjoy hurting people. Sci-Fi smiled softly. And you'll try anyway. Mitchell smiled. Because if I don't, then I didn't really give them a chance. Critical hit. Poor Sci-Fi's ears became purple. Because somehow, she loved that about him. Even knowing the answer. Even knowing these creatures would almost certainly refuse. Because that's who he was. A man who tried. Far above. Mara smiled proudly. My champion. He understands. Another creator god nodded. He knows evil exists. But he still offers mercy. At the enemy camp. Panic spread. Human! Human! Human approaching! The gnolls laughed. The goblins sneered. The ogres grinned. And seated upon his throne, the Hobgoblin King smiled. A human? One human? Bring him. Moments later, Mitchell stood before the throne. Unarmed. Calm. And smiling. The Hobgoblin King laughed. Human. You have courage. Or stupidity. Mitchell smiled. Maybe both. The gnolls laughed. The goblins laughed. Even the Hobgoblin King smiled. Then Mitchell spoke. You need to leave. Silence. The king blinked. What? People live there. Families. Children. And I really don't want to do the second option. Silence. Then, the entire camp exploded with laughter. The Hobgoblin King wiped tears from his eyes. One man threatens me. My army numbers 6,000. Ogres. Gnolls. Goblins. Wolf riders. And I shall rule the world. Far above. Mara sighed. Pride. Another creator god sighed. And cruelty. Mitchell smiled sadly. I was afraid you'd say that. The Hobgoblin King stood. You should fear me. Mitchell nodded. No. You should fear what happens next. Silence. The king laughed. Human. What army? And from atop the hill, Sci-Fi smiled. As radiant amber wings unfolded behind her. And the Hobgoblin King looked up. And for the first time, his smile vanished. Because standing upon the hill was a beautiful dark elf, glowing like an angel. And somehow, the Hobgoblin King felt something unfamiliar. Fear. Far above, Mara stood. And her eyes became dangerous. You were offered peace. My champion gave you the first option. Her smile disappeared. You chose the second. And somewhere in his heart, Mitchell sighed. Because he had hoped. He had truly hoped. But monsters earn that title for a reason. And now, it was time to protect 10,000 innocent people. The Hobgoblin King laughed. His generals laughed. The gnolls laughed. The goblins laughed. And Mitchell simply sighed. Then turned around. And quietly walked away. The monsters continued laughing. Until he reached the hill. Sci-Fi smiled softly. Well? Mitchell sighed. Well, I tried. And immediately, Sci-Fi wrapped her arms around him. I know. You always do. Then she stood on her tiptoes. And gently kissed his lips. Just for a moment. Warm. Sweet. Perfect. And when she pulled away, Mitchell smiled. Feeling better. Because somehow, she always made things better. Then Sci-Fi smiled. So. Second option? Mitchell smiled. Second option. Far above. Mara sighed. They always choose this. Another creator god nodded sadly. Pride. Cruelty. And ambition. Meanwhile, Mitchell reached into his bag of infinity. And withdrew. A steel ingot. Sci-Fi blinked. My love. Yes? Why? Projectile magnet. Oh. Of course. With one throw, the steel bar flew. And landed nearly 100 feet inside the enemy army. Thunk. Several goblins stared. Huh! Then, micro spell. Missile attraction. Far above, Mara spit out tea. The rock! Another creator god screamed. IT evolved! Then, the enemy attacked. Thousands of arrows. Fireballs. Ice spears. Lightning. Everything. And suddenly, whoosh! Every projectile changed direction. Toward the steel bar. And anything standing between. Was struck. Goblin. Why is the arrow turning? No. Why is it coming this way? The Hobgoblin King stood. What? And in moments, chaos consumed the front lines. Meanwhile, Sci-Fi smiled. Thank you? For modifying the spell. Mitchell blinked. Oh. Of course. Wouldn't want your arrows diverted. Critical hit. Poor Sci-Fi's ears became purple. Because he remembered. Always. Then, the Valkyrie wings unfolded. Golden. Radiant. And Sci-Fi drew her bow. The legendary mithril bow. And smiled. Let's see what it can do. Far above, 21 creator gods held their breath. And then, twang. 50 energy arrows appeared. The sky glowed. And then, rain. Explosive rain. Boom. 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 Entire war bands disappeared. The ground shook. And the Hobgoblin King looked upward in horror. What is she? Far above, Mara smiled proudly. My daughter. Meanwhile, Mitchell looked around. Campfires. Sci-Fi blinked. My love. Yes? That smile worries me. Mitchell raised a finger. Micro spell. 3D thought. 10 feet. By 10 feet. By 10 feet. Pure oxygen. Concentrated. Directly above several campfires. Then, tiny fireballs. Far above, Mara stood. Oh. No. Another creator god whispered. The engineer. And then, boom! A chain of explosions erupted throughout the enemy camp. Boom! 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 Tents vanished. Catapults shattered. Chaos spread. And the Hobgoblin King fell from his throne. What is happening? Meanwhile, Mitchell stood calmly beside Sci-Fi, holding her hand. And smiling. Useful. Sci-Fi burst out laughing. My handsome idiot! And kissed his cheek. Because despite everything, despite armies, despite monsters, despite explosions, he was still Mitchell. Still kind. Still humble. Still the man who had tried peace first. And somewhere, far above, Mara smiled proudly. My children! Show mercy. But when mercy is refused, her eyes glowed. Protect the innocent. And below, the Hobgoblin King finally realized. He had not marched toward prey. He had marched toward a problem. And the problem's name was Mitchell Kelly. The battlefield had become chaos. Explosions continued to ripple through the camp. Boom! 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 The remnants of catapults burned. Tents collapsed. And above, 50 explosive arcane arrows continued to rain from the heavens. Sci-Fi smiled. My bow is amazing. Mitchell smiled proudly. I'm glad you like it. Critical hit. Purple ears. And soon, The battlefield grew quiet. Very quiet. Because thousands had fled. Thousands more had surrendered. And only a handful remained. The Hobgoblin King. His generals. Several Knoll chieftains. 2 ogres. And a few elite guards. The king roared. You! I will kill you! Mitchell sighed. You really won't. Then. His eyes glowed softly. Gravity. Multiply. Times 10. Far above. Mara smiled. Oh. The fun spell. Wham! The entire group face planted. The Hobgoblin King. Face first. The generals. Face first. The ogres. Face first. The gnolls. Face first. Unable to rise. Unable to move. The king strained. And failed. What is this? Mitchell smiled. Gravity. How? Useful. Then he walked over. And looked down. Not with hatred. Not with anger. Just disappointment. You had your chance. The Hobgoblin King snarled. I would have ruled the world. Mitchell nodded. That was part of the problem. Then he looked over at Sci-Fi. And smiled. My love. She smiled. Yes? Should we take them back to the city? Read their crimes. Let them be judged properly. Sci-Fi blinked. Because even now, even after all this, he was thinking about justice. Not revenge. And she smiled. Walking over and taking his hand. I think that's the right thing. They deserve punishment. But they deserve lawful punishment. Mitchell nodded. Good. Less paperwork. The Hobgoblin King stared. You're not going to kill us? Mitchell blinked. No. Why? The king froze. Why? Because you're beaten. And killing prisoners is wrong. Silence. Absolute silence. The gnolls froze. The generals froze. Even the ogres stopped struggling. Because none of them understood. Mercy. Far above. Mara smiled. My champion. Another creator god nodded. He understands strength. Strength doesn't need cruelty. Then Mitchell reached into his bag of infinity. The Hobgoblin King whimpered. No. Not the bag. Out came chains. More chains. And even more chains. The king stared. Why do you have so many chains? Useful. Soon. One very unhappy monster chain gang existed. The Hobgoblin King in front. Gnolls. Generals. Ogres. Everyone. Face first in humiliation. And Sci-Fi burst out laughing. My handsome idiot. Mitchell blinked. Nothing. Then she stood on her tiptoes. And gave him another quick kiss. Because somehow, seeing him choose justice, seeing him choose mercy, seeing him choose kindness, made her love him even more. And somewhere, far above, Mara smiled proudly. My children! Very good. And many miles away, Varden still prepared for a siege, completely unaware that the war had ended, and that their defenders were currently dragging the greatest monster army leaders in history home. Like naughty children. Far above, 21 creator gods burst out laughing. Because history books would later describe the Great Goblin War, and how it ended. With one handsome idiot blacksmith, one beautiful dark elf ranger, a steel bar, gravity, 50 exploding arrows, oxygen, and entirely too many chains. The following morning, the city of Varden prepared for war. Soldiers stood atop the walls. Archers checked their bows. Mages prepared spells. Priests prayed. And Governor Cedric Halden hadn't slept all night. Neither had General Vale. Or Captain Marcus. Because somewhere beyond the horizon, 6,000 monsters marched. Or so they believed. Meanwhile, Sir Trotzelot guarded the city. The Pie Bandit had taken his duties seriously. 3 pies. 2 apples, and one suspicious-looking cinnamon roll had already been confiscated. Mrs. Miller pointed accusingly. That horse! On the walls? Captain Marcus peered through a spyglass. General Vale frowned. See anything? No. Too quiet. The old general frowned. I don't like quiet. Neither did Governor Halden. Then one young guard blinked. Captain? I think I see something. How many? The guard adjusted his telescope. 2. 2 what? People. Captain Marcus froze. 2? General Vale snorted. Impossible. No army sends 2 scouts. The guard swallowed. Actually, it looks like a human and a dark elf. Silence. Captain Marcus blinked. No. The figures grew closer. Mitchell. Sci-Fi. Hand in hand. Talking. Laughing. Happy. And behind them, something moved. General Vale blinked. What is that? Captain Marcus looked. Then froze. Chains? The guard blinked. Sir? Captain Marcus whispered. No. General Vale whispered. No. Governor Halden whispered. No. As they drew closer, everyone saw the Hobgoblin King, face first. His generals, Knoll chieftains, ogres, elite guards, all chained together, looking miserable. The Hobgoblin King growled. My face hurts. One Knoll whimpered. I hate chains. An ogre sighed. I hate gravity. Meanwhile, Mitchell smiled. Good morning. Sci-Fi smiled. Morning. The entire wall. Governor Halden ran down the stairs. What happened? Mitchell blinked. Oh. The war. We finished it. Silence. Absolute silence. General Vale's eye twitched. Finished? Mitchell nodded. We tried diplomacy first. Sci-Fi smiled. They declined? And? Mitchell shrugged. Second option. Entire city. Captain Marcus pointed wildly. Where's the army? Sci-Fi smiled. Scattered. They surrendered. Governor Halden nearly collapsed. Surrendered. Mitchell nodded. They seemed very motivated. Then the Hobgoblin King shouted. He blew up the sky. One Knoll screamed. The arrows! Another cried. The ground exploded. The ogre whimpered. The gravity! Poor General Vale removed his glasses. I quit. Captain Marcus caught him. General! Far above, 21 creator gods rolled on the floor laughing. Mara had fallen completely out of her chair. Second option! Another creator god wheezed. They finished a war in a day. Then Governor Halden looked at the chains. And blinked. Hobgoblin King. War crimes. Raiding. Murder. Slavery. The king lowered his head. Because suddenly, he realized, there would be justice. Lawful justice. Not revenge. And somehow, that frightened him more. Then Sci-Fi smiled. My fiancé? Yes? We should call your mother. Mitchell blinked. Oh. Good idea. And Captain Marcus froze. Fiancé? Poor Sci-Fi turned purple. Mitchell smiled. And somewhere, very far away, Lillian Shale's communicator suddenly rang. And she answered immediately. My babies! Back in Mara's gaze, the Shale home was peaceful. Lillian prepared breakfast. William read a book. Guildmaster Boren enjoyed his third cup of tea. And all three worried. Because their children were far away. Poor Lillian had worried herself into making enough food for 20 people. Boren smiled. My dear. Yes? They're mithril rank. I know. They have flying armor. I know. They have a flying horse. I know. And Mitchell. I know. So perhaps relax? Poor Lillian sniffled. I can't. They're my babies. William smiled. They'll be fine. Mitchell worries more about Sci-Fi getting hurt than himself. Boren laughed. Ha! Boy would wrestle a dragon if she stubbed her toe. Then. Ring. Lillian moved faster than anyone thought possible. My babies! William jumped. Boren nearly spilled tea. The communicator activated. And immediately, Sci-Fi's smiling face appeared. My babies! Mother! Behind Sci-Fi. Mitchell smiled. Good morning, Mrs. Shale. My boy! Lillian nearly cried. Did you eat? Entire room. Sci-Fi burst out laughing. Mother! We are fine. Did you eat? Yes. Properly? Yes. Vegetables? Mother! William smiled. Good morning, children. Good morning, Father. Professor. Boren leaned into view. My boy. Mitchell smiled. Guild Master. Boren grinned. So? How bad is it? Mitchell blinked. Oh. We finished. Silence. Absolute silence. William blinked. Finished? Sci-Fi smiled. My handsome fiancé tried diplomacy first. Critical hit. Poor Mitchell blushed. William froze. Boren froze. Lillian froze. Far above, Mara froze. My handsome fiancé! 21 creator gods exploded. Sci-Fi smiled proudly. He really tried. He gave them a chance. But they chose the second option. Boren slowly lowered his tea. No. No. My boy. Not the second option. Mitchell smiled. They were very uncooperative. William adjusted his glasses nervously. What happened? Mitchell blinked. Sci-Fi exploded things. Sci-Fi smiled. Quite a few things. And I exploded other things. And then gravity. Boren slowly closed his eyes. Gravity. Of course. Then Sci-Fi smiled. And now we're bringing back the Hobgoblin King and his generals for trial. Poor Boren spat out tea. What? William nearly fell out of his chair. Alive! Lillian covered her mouth. You brought them alive! Mitchell smiled. Killing prisoners is wrong. Silence. Boren's eyes became wet. William removed his glasses. And Lillian openly cried. My babies. Boren smiled proudly. Those are my mithril ranks. William smiled. And my children. Lillian sniffled. And my babies. Then Sci-Fi smiled. And mother? Yes, sweetheart? My handsome fiancé says hello? Poor Mitchell turned red. Sci-Fi. What? You're making me blush. William burst out laughing. Boren burst out laughing. And Lillian? Poor woman put her hand over her heart. My baby found a good man. Then she smiled. And Mitchell? Yes, mother? Everyone froze. Mitchell froze. Mother? Lillian smiled warmly. Obviously. You're mine too. Poor Mitchell's eyes became wet. Yes, mother. Far above, Mara wiped away tears. My champion. My daughter. My family. And she smiled proudly. Good. Very good. And somewhere nearby, Sir Trotsalot stole another pie. Because history never changed. The city square of Varden had never been so crowded. 10,000 people gathered. Children. Families. Soldiers. Merchants. Priests. And in chains, the Hobgoblin King. His generals. The Knoll chieftains. And the surviving leaders of the invasion. All looking thoroughly miserable. The Hobgoblin King muttered, I hate gravity. Governor Cedric Halden stood upon the platform. And slowly unrolled a scroll. His expression became cold. Murder. Slavery. Raiding. Kidnapping. Burning villages. Torture. Crimes against innocents. As each crime was read, the crowd became quieter and quieter, until the entire city stood in silence. Because everyone realized this army had not come to conquer. It had come to destroy. And they had come within 1 week of losing everything. Governor Halden lowered the scroll and turned toward 2 people standing side by side, Mitchell and Sci-Fi. His eyes became wet. My friends, my city stands. My people live. My grandchildren still have a future. Because of you. The entire city erupted into applause. Children cheered. Soldiers cheered. Families cried. And poor Sci-Fi blushed, while Mitchell scratched the back of his head. Happy to help. Then Governor Halden smiled. No. Not just help. You saved us. And he bowed. Before the entire city. The soldiers gasped. The generals froze. And then, one by one, everyone bowed. 10,000 souls. Far above, Mara wiped tears away. My children! Another creator god smiled. They earned it. Governor Halden stood once more and looked at their mithril badges. Then laughed softly. You know, I think the Adventurers Guild made a mistake. Silence. Poor Boren, watching through the communicator, blinked. What? Governor Halden smiled. No offense, Guildmaster. Boren grumbled. Humph. Then the governor looked at the pair. Because you too are beyond mithril. Silence. Complete silence. Even the Hobgoblin King looked up. Governor Halden smiled. Even if all 4 of the other mithril rank adventurers stood here together. I know. He smiled warmly. I know this war would still not be over. Silence. But somehow, you too solved it. You offered peace. You showed mercy. You protected the innocent. And you ended the threat. He laughed. In one day. The crowd burst into laughter. Because it was true. One day. Captain Marcus laughed. Honestly, I thought we'd all die. General Vale nodded. So did I. And then these 2 children showed up. Governor Halden smiled. The world has only 4 mithril rank adventurers. But perhaps. He looked upward. Perhaps the world has just received something new. Something rarer. Something greater. Then he smiled. Heroes. The crowd exploded into cheers. And poor Sci-Fi became completely purple. My handsome fiancé. Mitchell blinked. We should probably leave. Why? Because 10,000 people are staring. Oh. Good point. Then, without warning, Sci-Fi hugged him. And the crowd cheered even louder. Poor Mitchell turned red. Far above, Mara screamed. Hugging. Another creator god fainted. In public. And somewhere. Watching through the communicator. Lillian cried. William removed his glasses. And Guildmaster Boren wiped away tears. Because he knew. No. There wasn't a rank high enough. Not for the handsome idiot blacksmith. Not for the kind-hearted dark elf. And certainly not for the 2 of them together. For history would remember many legends. But few stories would shine brighter than the tale of Mitchell Kelly and Sapphire Shale, the heroes of Mara's gaze. And somewhere in the city, Sir Troutsalot stole 3 pies. Because greatness came in many forms.